Hey everyone, what's going on? Joey here, and you finally saw the first episode of The Masked Dancer. Let's go ahead and compare the similarities and differences between The Masked Dancer and The Masked Singer. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe, you turn on notifications, and you give this video a thumbs up. Let's get started. So I am so excited to do this video because a lot of you guys have been sending me messages left and right. Hey, can you talk about what's different between both of these? There's some obvious things, singing and dancing, those kind of things, but there's some things you may not even took note of when the show was going on, so let's talk about that stuff right now. Now, to make things easier, let's talk about the similarities first because it's kind of easy to do, and then we'll go into the small little details of how things have been different from show to show. To start things off, they filmed them the same way, and they actually filmed them during the same time period because they started filming The Masked Singer in August when things started kind of cleared up a little bit with the pandemic in California. Of course, right now it's even worse, but they filmed The Masked Singer first for a few weeks, and then in the early October through November, they started filming The Masked Dancer. They filmed them in exactly the same studio. They filmed them in Red Studios, which is a lot smaller than the one they're used to. The one they normally film is more towards Burbank, and it's massive. And the reason why it's like that is because they used to have a studio audience in there while it's going on. But because of the pandemic, just like The Masked Singer, they had no audience whatsoever. That's right, if you actually watch the show, you'll notice that there are some people in the audience. Of course, they have to have some people there, but that is more or less just the cast and the crew, people who went through a lot of testing to actually get through to be there, and they're on there. You also can notice that, this is kind of something really bad to point out, and I'm sorry, Fox. You can watch some of the shows, and you can kind of see how fake some of the audience looks, because they filmed all those reactions of the people going around. That was all from season 1, 2, and 3 of The Masked Singer, which they kind of threw in there. That way it doesn't look like you have no audience. And to be honest with you, when you watch this show back maybe 2 or 3 years from now, you're not going to realize, oh, that was the COVID year. They didn't have an audience, because truth be told, you really don't know. They pipe in all the laughter and the clapping and the chanting and things like that. So those are definitely the same. Just like The Masked Singer, of course, they had 4 judges. Obviously, they're different judges, except for Ken. But you did have 4 of them. They were standing fairly far away enough from the stage. And actually, if you actually look, they're actually about 5 or 6 feet away because of COVID. They filmed it the same way for The Masked Singer. You do know pretty much the same kind of ground rules are the same. We have clue packages. The judges get to watch them perform, make their guesses, go through the clues. Those are kind of like all the same. And I know what you're saying, but Joey, the clue packages, we'll get back to that in a second. But continuing on with the similarities, obviously when it comes to the at-home audience, this season, just like season 4 of The Masked Singer, they had people actually watch the performances at home, and then they voted. For those who don't know, at-home audiences, I believe that's the website. It could be something else. You could have signed up, and then from there, they would reach out to you. Hey, can you do this time? Can you do that time? And then when it's time, they send you a link. You sign an NDA and all these things, and then you watch the performance. But that's all you get to see. You got to see, like, for example, Group Fire. You got to see the 5 of them perform, and then you would say which one you liked and which one you hated, and that was it. Sometimes they would only film for or show you at least a half an hour worth of the show, and that's about it, which is just a couple performances here and there, because they all perform about a minute and a half, and then they have to reset. I do know that when they were doing The Masked Singer supposedly it was live. I'm assuming they did it the same way for here, but there is a difference there, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And then on top of that, there still was some pitch modulation on the audio for the clue packages, so that is still sort of the same. But now let's talk about what is completely different about this show, and starting off with the biggest thing. With The Masked Singer, we get to hear them sing, and as Craig says, with this show, we get to
see their moves.
Now, what I think was really cool, because now you're seeing their moves and not hearing them sing, you actually get to hear real songs. Take a look at the first episode. You got to hear the Backstreet Boys, the real song. I thought maybe they're going to do it where they had the backup singers sing the songs, but you actually have full copyrighted songs on there from the Pointed Sisters, you name it. They're real songs, and I thought that was really unique because that means they have to pay a lot of money to go ahead and air those songs in there. Sometimes it costs them like $30,000 to play a full Backstreet song or something like that. So they're actually spending more money on this than, say, if they were doing a cover of it. So that is something completely different on this show. And once again, I am still surprised they didn't use the backup singers to sing. Like, they do that? Don't they do that with Dancing with the Stars? So I would assume that they would kind of do that here. Next on that, instead of it being one person, because you're used to one person only singing on stage, well, the Snow Owls too, now they can have a partner, they can have the entire ensemble, which the ensemble, I think, was something in the realms of like 24 people who can come on and dance with you. I kind of wish that they had like a couple contestants that actually were like a group of 3. Like if you had like the Jonas Brothers on there, or AJR, or something like that, or even 2 people, because that would have been really, really cool to kind of guess off of. But it is nice that they have someone else out there, which leads us to the next thing. Unlike the Masked Singer, which they could go ahead and be home and practice and sing, this show actually called for a lot more time so that the dancers can learn the dance moves and the celebrity guests can go ahead and learn the dance moves. And because everything was because of the pandemic, it was kind of making things a little bit harder, they actually had more time to practice. And I do know that when they were doing the show, which we'll talk about in another video going through how they actually filmed the show, let's say March, they started learning the dance moves and doing stuff like that. Now keep in mind at that point, they were doing the Masked Singer because they were supposed to be doing the Masked Dancer and filming that for the summertime. So they knew it was going to take more time to go ahead and start learning the dance moves. So that actually gave them a lot more time to do it. Of course, the pandemic hit, they started back up in, we'll say, September. They started doing the dances again and learning them. So they got a lot more time to practice. So you'll notice it's going to be more, I say, refined when it comes to the dance moves, which kind of only lifts it up another level of professionalism. Look, I mean, I jump back to the Masked Singer and say there's been instances where some of the people forgot the lyrics to the songs, even though later on we did find out, at least in season 3, they put the lyrics kind of behind the judges up higher. That way, if someone didn't know the words, they can kind of look up and sing. But with this, there's no way of doing that. So they did give them a lot more time to learn the dance moves. That way, they can be fine. They really won't have any issues when it comes to forgetting something. Though, I mean, it still could potentially happen. And one thing I did want to point out is when you watch the disco ball, did you notice that, where's he at? Right there. Did you notice that he cannot see through that mask at all? When he was trying to come off that cake platform, they actually had to guide him down. I don't know if that's something different for this show or not, but the costumes are kind of harder to see through. I don't know why. It's kind of interesting. But anyway, let's continue on with our list. Next, while we're talking about dancing, let's talk about the stage. The stage for the Masked Singer, as you know, is like sort of like an X, has a little pop out here and there, but it is completely different. I mean, completely different for the Masked Dancer, because once again, they have that large ensemble of people of 23, 24. So instead of it being that X, it's sort of like a theater stage. Kind of goes like this, kind of pokes out a little bit and goes to the point. I mean, this is what it looks like. Take a look. So once again, that gives them so much more space to dance upon. I don't think anyone's had a stage like this yet. I mean, we did an entire recap of different stages and shows of the Masked Singer from around the world. That was over the sing-along breaks. If you can go back and check out those videos, because we visited, I think, 6 different countries. So I've never seen anything like this before, and it was kind of cool to check out. Now, while we're talking about the dancing, let's talk about some of the costumes. Did you notice the costumes are completely different than the Masked Singer? These ones, if you notice, are mostly like skin suits for all the big things. Look at the shark. It's like it was skin suit, but had a little material on top of it. And the reason for that is because you need to be very flexible while you're dancing. And let's look at like Lil Wayne's robot. You would not be able to do some of these crazy dance moves. I mean, like, for example, when she was tap dancing, there was no way you could have done that in those other costumes. Now, the only other one you could have done it was maybe the kitty cat, or the cat. I'm saying the kitty cat, you hear me? Because her underneath was the body skin, but all body skins pretty much for all of these characters so that they're more flexible. Even looking over here, they're all body skins, except for, so this kind of looks like jeans a little bit, but it's also that they can move better in the costumes. Now let's go into the clue packages. It's really awesome because for season 4 of The Masked Singer, they went cartoon-wise because they couldn't go on location and film certain things. But they were able to go ahead with The Masked Dancer and go back and film these clue packages. For the most part, it's all done on a green screen. Here's a clip. So we're no longer doing the animated clue packages. I really liked the animated ones. They were fun, they were goofy. I mean, they're still fun and goofy now. Now, while we're on the subject of clue packages, let's talk about that sparkly circle thing that's going on. Not really quite sure why they introduced it. I guess it's a super clue sort of kind of thing, because as we know, we kind of go through the clue packages and we're able to go ahead and pull things out on our own. And I guess maybe to make it easier, because you can't hear them sing, they went ahead, oh, let's just circle some things, and that will definitely help out, which, I mean, did it help you guys with Ice-T? Which, by the way, in the pre-show, did you notice how I said Ice-T was going to be on the show? Anyway, on top of the clues, normally after they perform and they're talking to the judges, we normally get, like, an additional clue. You know, remember last season how they like were running things out, maybe with a drone, maybe another thing. You know, here's a safe clue and all these things. We didn't get that extra clue. I don't know if they're going to bring that back halfway through the season, but as of right now, it doesn't exist. After this, we have no golden ear trophy. If you notice, after they performed, there wasn't like a golden shoe or a slipper or golden eye, which would have been really creepy. Can you imagine the golden eye trophy? No, I don't think I could have dealt with that either. That would be funny, because if they continue with the Masked universe, they could have an entire body by the time we're done. Like maybe the masked hairdresser artist thingy-mabob. I don't know. Anyway, on top of that, the other clue package thing that was new for us is Word Up. Completely different, brand new. It is where the celebrity with no voice modulation will say a single word, and you can hear the real voice, and that word's supposed to be something that is going to call them out right away. And to be honest with you, that clue really doesn't mean anything. And to us on this YouTube channel, we go ahead and do the pitch correct audio anyway. I mean, we just did that, what was it, on Tuesday? Where we go ahead and we pitch correct the clue packages so that you guys can hear the real celebrity voice. And it's funny because Craig is talking about it. He's like, for the first time ever.
For the first time in masked history, we hear their actual speaking voice.
Inspired.
And I'm laughing because I'm like, we've been doing that the whole time, Craig. Where have you been? I wonder if he's seen a video on this channel, by the way. Come on, you know he Googled The Masked Singer before hosting it. And our videos came up. Hey, Craig, welcome to the Joey Contino YouTube channel. Now, the only other thing that I want to add in here is that, did you notice that Paula asked them a yes or no question from time to time? I'm assuming this is something that's going to happen in this show because why not? But that would be yeah, let's just say that. I'm kind of happy she did that, and I really do hope that they bring that in as a normal segment as the show goes on. Now, keep in mind, the show is already filmed. They already know who the winner is. We don't know who the winner is yet. Anyway, those are all the similarities and differences from the show. If I missed anything, like, you know, the Men in Black, for example, there is no longer Men in Black, it's Women in Black. Complete different thing there. You know, if there's something that I missed or didn't talk about, or let me know in the comment section. I would be glad to talk about it for you guys. Anyway, if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe, turn on notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. I'm Joey. You guys stay safe. Happy almost New Year.